kind of all over the place this morning. Really harebrained. 9:08, 9:36. First one is 9:03. It's a liquidity pull from no man's land after an auction takes place at 71.25. See the 112, 85, 95 at 71.25 and 71 even. There's strong buying here. No sellers to trade against, and I'm looking for that plunge there. And I'm convicted on holding the trade because we've come to 72 before. And there weren't any sellers caught offside on 72. And the market is already illiquid at 71.25 and 71 even because of the auction, the previously existing auction. So I have conviction to hold and back ticking, but I get out for a tick loss because it lasts too long. 04, 05. Journal. Yep. 905. 33. Spot pressure there, 71.50. Didn't move price up. Not much to trade against. Sell side. Plenty to trade against buy side. Inactivity and the Q read is what I'm spoofing on. And that somebody spoofed at 71 and price didn't move, meaning value was either there, which it's not, or the market is weak because it couldn't move price up. Then when the order pulls, we react by moving two ticks lower on low volume, even though I don't clear the order. That's what happens. The spoof at 71 pulled combined with the 128 at 71.50 doesn't necessarily mean that 147 contracts are going to puke, but it does mean that buyers are weaker and sellers. It does mean that there's market weakness because the market doesn't move up on buyers. So I take that two tick move. So it doesn't mean that anybody pukes. It just means there might be either a temporary absence of liquidity or they're weighing sellers more valuable from that, or they're weighing sellers more valuable, right? And I took that Q ping, the 71 that spoofed there, somebody testing liquidity to see if the market would move as a way to gauge strength, and I got out for two ticks. 846. 7. You see absorption there at 73.50, 117, 100. I'm looking for a short here because of how much buying there is, so there's going to be an absence of liquidity. For the two ticks, 73.25 and 73.50, buyers disproportionately represent sellers and the auction clears. When the auction clears, market makers will pull in opposing directions to accommodate for the lack of liquidity from the buy side, I believe. 103 and 117, I have to take notes. I'm just making sure there's nothing in here. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, to AI, ChatGPT. That's what I meant to say. 73.75. Notice how we're liquid up here. I don't like holding the trade, but I'm just trading off the conviction that there is an order flow imbalance there. Also filtered auction order flow imbalance on inside print similar to footprint. That's not a thing. It doesn't exist, but like I'm just talking about color coding a DOM 1022. For example, if you know there's 7350, 36 and 23 traded, that's really not a huge edge in any direction. It's a discrepancy of maybe 13 lots, which is about 50%, but the order flow is so low. So maybe if I had the capacity to and the platform let me, I would code that as like light gray, the background. But if there was like 100 there, and if there was 103 bid and 41 and 117 and 69, buyers lift the offer here. 117.26 would be gray. I could code this like a footprint, and we'd be good to go. Also, I'm reading the tape wrong, I just noticed, and I have to say that now so I don't read it wrong in the future. 37 to 101 is a huge imbalance. 61 to 182 is a huge imbalance. 117 to 69 is a huge imbalance. It doesn't read crossover, it reads like this. 41 to 103 is a huge imbalance because the market trades like that. That's all the people I'm trading against because they dried up. From that perspective, I believe I'm early and I should wait for a counter rotation. There's also a lot of liquidity there. If it runs and I get the entire move, it'll be great. I'm too early. I scratch. The queue is empty now from a buy perspective because all of them got absorbed, and I missed a good three tick move. Now sellers are stepping in. There's a 100 at 73.50. That means there's an absence of liquidity there. So the queue pulls initially. So the ignition of the move comes from sellers, meaning the order book is most likely empty on both sides. 100 traded there, and they all stacked up on that side, buy side. And then we see this strong, not strong, but acceptable control move. If there's too much order flow, in certain cases, then the move becomes choppy and convoluted, and market makers pull. So this is an example of healthy flow again because the orders are small. I have to put that in a GIF. Shucks, I have to go to work. I pushed this too far back. I could have been reviewing all morning, to be honest. Um, so if this hit and they were all 100 lots, the queue would pull in order to accommodate for the adverse size, and the move would be exacerbated, and the odds that we would revert is higher, but because it's controlled on both sides, and sellers are leading, and the order flow is relatively normalized, and it's slow, that means the odds that we revert off of 71 back to 73.50 is lower. Do we revert? Yeah, but we stop at 72 and we cross the auction, and then you just have to watch flow. That just means it was a healthy distribution. I say the odds are lower and then it reverted, so who cares? I don't know what I'm talking about. And hindsight analysis is 2020. I can do one more trade. 908, 922. I sat on my laurels for the rest of the session and just watched them trade. There's a big 1,000 lot here and huge absorption. I get short here, I get long here, and then I scratch after the 1,000 lot because the market doesn't go anywhere, and I don't know enough after that 1,000 lot on the ask trade at 73.50 to do anything about it. So I get out for break even.